Well, hello, rail fans and mini print folks and everyone out there in YouTube land. Welcome to the June Mini Prints monthly live show, which is streaming to you directly only on YouTube tonight because for some reason it dropped the Facebook connection. So if you are on Facebook, head over to YouTube, but you won't know that I'm on YouTube because I'm not on Facebook. So if anyone has come over from Facebook and was wondering what's going on, that's what's going on. It wouldn't be a Mini Prints Monthly Live without at least one technical problem. So welcome to everyone who's here. I want to start off the show by welcoming the first person in, Dave Hammer, who got the cookie. And I see Sean's Pennywise and Miser was the second, followed by Sparky, and then Stephen, John. Oh, who else? Everybody is streaming in right now. I do apologize if you are coming in right now from Facebook. If you missed the intro video, I just shot that on my brand new drone about an hour ago. Talk about last minute. And you can go back and, as always, watch the beginning of the show or any part of the show that you missed on replay here on YouTube. I have no idea how to get Facebook up and running, so I won't. Anyway, welcome to Floyd Robbins. Welcome to Nelson Allison. Welcome to Sean Rogers. Welcome to Brian Teal. Welcome to Around the Layout podcast. This show is going to be about creativity. And in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I am going to publish a link to invite you to be my guest. So this is going to be another one of our open mic sessions. We did that, I guess, 2 months ago, and it was extremely popular. So we'll be discussing creativity. If you have a scene on your layout featuring mini prints that you would like to feature, I will be sending the link, putting it up on a banner in a few minutes. Actually, why don't I just put that up right now if I can figure out. There we go. Oh, no, I don't want the sample banner. I want this banner. There we go. So there's the link. Once I do a few housekeeping things, I'm going to invite a special guest on in about 5 minutes who is right there in the basement. And you know what happens next? What happens next is that I go to this slide and I add it to there. Excellent. And I remove that from the scene, and we pick a beer. So sadly, there are no new beers, but these are all beers I think that I've had on the show before. Hello from Trenton. Hello, Roger. Welcome. Hello, Ref. So let's see. First off, we've got the Metros Mild. It is coming in at 3.5%. And I think we've had it before. It's a soccer beer. Then Lagered Blonde coming in at 4.8%. That's actually good. It's got a beautiful color, this one. I don't have a write-up on it. Henderson's Best, the Amber Ale, had that before. And then the ever-popular Canadian Golden Ale, the Rush beer. So we start off, Rush for the working man, says John Garvin. Sean Rogers says go for the Amber, which is the Henderson's Best. Let's see. Ray says that he is no creative talent, but looking forward to hearing from the rest of you. Well, you got to pipe up too. Floyd is saying I should drink the Rush beer. All right, let's get a few more votes in there. Hello, Peter. Welcome to Sean likes blondes. So we got a blonde, an amber, and a Rush. So who's going to cast the deciding ballot? Oh, and now Sparky has just chosen the fourth beer just to be difficult. Thank you for that, Sparky. All right. We got Coors Light is not on the agenda, Ray. And Anthony, you are the tiebreaker. So I'm going to grab that Rush beer. And let's see. All right. I'm going to pop open the Rush. So let's go full frame here. So I'm really excited by today's show because I'm going to be making a couple of big announcements. Okay, I'm going to drink the Rush. Ooh, Ooh, 5.5%. Of course, it's the one with the most alcohol, but 5.5 is not that bad. I trust, you know me. I will drink them all. I just won't drink them all right now. I haven't had the Rush beer in a while, I don't think. So while I pour this, I will tell you a little bit about tonight. We're going to have a special guest on in a minute with a special announcement, which is kind of exciting. Then I'm going to, cheers. Then we are going to do a little housekeeping, invite you guys on, talk a little bit about creativity, and that sounds like a pretty good show. All right, let me go back to the slide deck. And let's do this. Okay, so this is, I'm going to put this back in. A good friend of mine, whoops, where'd I go? I don't want to be there. I want to be, there we go. A good friend of mine, Dave McLean, up here, not far from me in Toronto, just north of the city, is building a beautiful O-scale layout. And I was helping him cut some plywood a couple weekends ago, and we went down to his layout room, and he had this on the computer. And I don't know if everyone is familiar with what this is, but this is a program called ATCS, which I thought was long gone. I'd seen it in use once before on the Norfolk Southern Line around Springfield area, but I had never seen it up and running in Canada. And apparently it's still up and running in Canada. So I have had a ton of fun lately. Of course, I've installed this on a whole bunch of monitors in the office, and I'm monitoring lines. And I'm hoping that this will now solve the age-old problem of when I go out with my drone and I go rail fanning, because it is, after all, rail fanning season. We can play that game, Hey Drone, Where's the Train? And now I have a fighting chance of actually catching something. So that's kind of fun and interesting. And let's go back there. So yes, I'm having a lot of fun. I know that it is unfortunately not up and running in the states anymore, not large parts of the states, that they're moving over to, I guess, digital channels, as Dave Hammers mentioned. But I'm going to take full advantage of it while it's still here in Canada, and hopefully with the new drone. And I will tell you all about the new drone, Ray, because I know you're a drone guy. So I had the Mini 2, which I bought a couple years ago after crashing my Mini 1. And I noticed that the local big box, beginning with the letter C, had the Mini 4 Pro on sale for a ridiculously good price. So I thought, I wasn't going to go from 2 to 3, and I certainly wasn't going to go from 3 to 4, but to jump 2 generations and to go from the 2 to the 4, there were enough features that I thought it would be worthwhile. And I'm happy to say that I have sold my Mini 2, which is still an incredible drone, and only had, I think, 78 minutes worth of fly time on it, to a good friend of mine who is also a rail fan. So next Sunday, I will be going out to Port Hope, which is a fantastic rail fanning location where CN and CP have tracks parallel to each other, to deliver the Mini 2 to a friend of mine and to maybe catch some nice rail fanning views from above, which I will share with you next month. Anyway, so that's the story on the new drone, and I'm very excited about the ATCS, because if you're anything like me, I spend most of the winter in the basement. Well, I used to anyway. And the summer for me is all about rail fanning. So speaking of rail fanning, I think that kind of segues somewhat nicely into my next slide, which I will just pop up right now. Because one of the things that I absolutely love doing, why do I keep disappearing? Hang on. One of the things that I absolutely love doing is rail fanning when I go to conventions. And I am absolutely super thrilled to announce that I will be attending the Station Novi conference, NMRA National, and to speak all about it, you'll see that blue gentleman on the screen right there, who is with me right below. I'm going to introduce him. Byrne is with the conference. Byrne is the registrar. I'm going to say. I'm going to add you in, and you can give me a better introduction of what you do, but I think you're in charge of registrations at the conference. And we had the pleasure of meeting, I think, 2 years ago. And welcome.
You're welcome. Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity to kind of share what we're doing here and share an interesting announcement tonight that just popped up on my phone. But this will give the folks online a pretty good chance of what's coming up. We've got a pretty exciting convention coming up. We've had a phenomenal reaction to it. And just to kind of jump a little ahead, we talked about this a little bit earlier. The convention itself is without even having started, is already a success in terms of sheer number of people who've seen what we're doing and are really excited about it, and they're ready to go.
How many registrar? Now, you are the registrar, right?
I'm the chief registrar for the convention. There's a team of actually about 50 people running the convention. I've got a team within that's responsible for all the back shop, that the registration process, keeping track of all the clinics, the events at the event, taking care of the billing, taking care of cancellations and moves, that kind of thing. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see with a convention that has to happen to make it a successful convention, especially when you're talking about the sheer number of people we're expecting.
So are you gonna share the sheer number of people number?
Yes, and just to give you guys a sense of it, you hope when you're doing a convention that you might get 5 or 10% more people than you got at the previous convention. Long Beach last year had about 620 people.
Okay.
As of 5 minutes ago, our target for the convention of 850, we hit that number tonight. Just a couple of minutes.
Congratulations.
So it's sort of like, well, somebody managed to register just in time for us to announce it on your broadcast.
So it's a live scoop right here.
You got it. No one else is aware of the fact that we've actually hit the target already, and we still have a month and a half to go. So it's going to be pretty spectacular.
Wow. Yes. I was at Texas. Was Texas my first national? I think it was. What was the year before Texas?
St. Louis, I think, was the year before it.
Okay, so yes, Texas was my first, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Now, there were some issues with the hotel price, and you were a bit of a captive audience, but the conference itself, the convention, was spectacular. I was supposed to go to Long Beach, but I didn't. Things got in the way. But I'm thrilled to let everyone know that I will be at Novi. And not only will I be at Novi, but I'm scanning.
Mm-hmm. You'll be live on the spot.
Yep. I scanned you in Texas. I see it right there. Yep. But do you want to tell everyone a little bit about the convention?
Yeah, let's go do that. Let's kind of introduce you folks to it. By the way, it's interesting that you mentioned that was your first convention. We actually have a video on our website specifically for folks who this is their first convention. So you have never been to one before and you're excited but don't quite know what to do or what to expect or how to plan for it.
Yep.
You'll see on our registration website 2 videos. One of them is for somebody who's coming in for the first time, and the other is one I'll talk about in a couple of minutes. But to give you an idea, from my standpoint, I've been an HO modeler for a little less than 10 years. I've got a 20 by 40 layout, and it's a basement layout. And you'll find when you come to Michigan, one of our advantages over places like Texas and places like California is we've got something they don't: basements, which means we got a lot more room to work with, not trying to fit it into a garage. You folks will appreciate the humor in that. But the convention itself is very different. It's a convention like no other convention before it. First of all, we're not trying to make people come in during the weekend to start up first thing Monday morning. Give people enough time to travel there by car or fly in. So we're starting the convention on Monday afternoon, July 14th. and it's going to run all the way through till the following Saturday.
Yep.
So if you're not too far away, if you're in, St. Louis or coming in from Toronto, you're talking about a half a day's drive. So you'll be there to start picking up the events when you get there Monday.
Excellent.
And you'll be in good shape. If you come in the night before, you can get some extra rest. The clinics and the other activities are going to run till Saturday about 4 p.m. But when we talk about events running, literally, we've got open houses running till 9 o'clock at night from 8 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to be giving you a really full convention with more there than you've ever seen at a convention before. And best of all, we're going to do it at about 30% the cost of previous conventions, especially considering the fact we're not using luxury hotels and parking and all the things that you would have gone through, for example, in St. Louis or in Texas or in Long Beach. So
that's what really struck me. I mean, I think my registration was $125, something like that.
Correct.
Which was, I think, a fraction, half maybe, of what I paid for Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It costs you less. Plus, your things like meals. When you go to a convention, obviously you're looking to eat during the convention, and at the hotels there, they were kind of challenged because you really didn't have any place close by. You had to eat at the hotel at their expense.
Texas was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. I mean, it was a lovely hotel, but they really had you captive. I mean, you were in the castle and there was a moat around you.
Yeah, couldn't have said that better. That's exactly the feeling we had. And we looked at that and we said with the previous conventions, no, we're not doing that. We're going to make it accessible to everybody. There are about 50 restaurants along Haggerty Road where the convention is, everything from McDonald's to fine dining. So we've done everything different possible, including the hotels, including not making people pay for parking, which was another big expense on the previous conventions. So just a funny comment to offset when I did this presentation back in Long Beach, and I got to the point where I said free parking. One of the fellows walked over to me afterwards and he said, "You had me at free parking." And you saw what the parking was. You got that message.
Oh,
so we're not doing that either. So let's go to the next one, and we'll kind of give you not traditional.
Yeah, and the goal tonight, and I'll just share with everyone because I know you and I know this, but the goal is to give everyone a little bit of an overview, because I have to say I'm very excited about this convention because I think, anytime you get, 850 NMRA modelers, or well, not even NMRA members, because you don't have to be an NMRA member, do you? Right. But when you get 850 modelers together, that's a good event.
Oh yeah, you'll be talking to lots of your peers. Matter of fact, just as an aside, on your badges, if it's your first convention, it will say it's your first convention so that people can be extra helpful to you. I added that to the badges. I also added to the badges what scale it is. So if you just want to bump into folks who are into N scale or O, well, you're going to see that right on their badges.
Or if you want to avoid people that are into N scale or O.
Right. Unfortunately, you will not be able to deny what scale you're working with because it's going to be right there on your badge. So
fair enough.
But when our thinking with having it where we are in the Metro Detroit area is, if you look at that circle, about 65% of the entire U.S. population and a major portion of the Canadian population is within a single day's drive. So you should not need to be flying in. Plus, you'll have your car there to do the touring and to do what you want to do during the convention. So we've eliminated the airfare for a significant portion of the folks. And it's actually in the northwest corner of the Metro Detroit area, only about 20 minutes north of Detroit Metro Airport, which is the
I was wondering how far it is from door to door, like downtown to...
It is. Yeah.
And it's not far.
It's not far at all. It's a short drive. Most people who are coming in from the airport are probably going to do a share ride. But once you get there, there'll be so many people with cars. So if you want to go out and do something, there'll be so many friends there that shouldn't be a problem for you.
Perfect.
So let's go to the next one. Let's talk about one of the lead pieces that people are interested in when they're in the hobby and they're in conventions and they want to learn things. We're going to have about 90 different clinics. You cannot possibly attend everything that we've got there for you to go to sessions to learn, many of which are hands-on sessions. They're not just sitting in a room and learning. We're making every effort to make sure these are fresh and educational. We don't want to keep repeating clinics from before. So one of the requirements was this has to be pretty much new stuff.
And I saw you've got some really good names. I noticed Tony Custer is doing a clinic, and lots of people who do good clinics.
Yep, and names you'll see in the magazines, names you've heard, through the press. This is the big event that they will want to be at. And we're starting the clinics at 1 p.m. Monday, so it means you've got all day morning to go register if you're there from the night before without having to even miss a clinic. We're going to begin every other day at 9 a.m., and we're going to run all the way through Saturday with events running literally all day. In the case of, we've got some activities that there's so much going on that we were actually running it till 10 p.m. all the way through Friday. And on Saturday, when we've got the dinner and it starts to settle down, we'll hold things stop at 4 o'clock.
Sure.
One of the things we want to tell people is there's some folks who show up for the first couple of days. You don't want to do that. If you leave Thursday, you're going to miss some of the best events. We're really, really heavy duty loading some of the top stuff, the contests, et cetera. Everything's going to be at the tail end as well. So it's really
good, because I'm coming in on the Wednesday. I'm there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep. And that's good, because it'll really build to crescendo. And by the way, a lot of these clinics are going to be repeated more than once. So if you've got a conflict, don't worry. There's probably a second chance that you'll have the ability to see if you can catch it.
We have a question. What are you guys? Are you doing anything on YouTube? Are you recording the clinics? Someone's asking whether the clinics are going to be available for people who can't attend in person.
That's a great question. For proprietary reasons, we cannot do them directly. However, we will be posting on the website. So if you are registered, for example, you'll be able to go in and pull up the material. So, for example, historically, everybody brought in a stack of paper and handed it to people.
Sure.
So people could take it home and share. Well, you won't have to worry about that. It'll be online. You'll be able to see whatever the handouts would have been. We're going to try to make as many of those possible online, best we can do. So,
and that's for attendees only, or for everyone?
At this point, it's for attendees only, because it's kind of not right if you can't make it. But a lot of the material is going to land up getting, if you will, replicated in social media and other ways.
Sure.
But we're not planning on doing that for the effort for the clinicians and the cost.
Right.
Let's now. There's one other item I want to point out at the bottom here. Anybody who's gone to a convention knows you spend a boatload of time planning for it. Do I have conflicts? What time do I want to do this? Which order? What day do I have? I've been through that. You've been through that. My attitude is I'm not doing that anymore. We've actually automated the process. So one of the things you'll see me talk about in a minute is, once you're registered, as you pay for anything when you do registration, or if it's a free item like the clinics, like the op sessions, you'll actually be able to sort of do a like on them as you look through them on the website, and we will create your personal itinerary.
I saw that on the website. The website is very techy. It's probably one of the more techy, sophisticated websites that I've seen.
It's got the capabilities that everybody's been sort of looking for. So, and I'll talk about that one in a minute. We actually have a separate video that you can look at that tells you how to plan for the convention. That includes how to create your personal itinerary on your phone. So
fantastic. I have a question before we go further. Is anyone who's on the chat, because I think, yes, welcome Split Rock, welcome Derek, welcome Rayron. We've got a whole bunch of people just came in. I'm curious, of the people watching, is anyone besides you and me registered for this? Is anyone attending or thinking of attending? If so, definitely pop a note in the comments while we talk about the other big part of this. So there's obviously so much to talk about, more than we can talk about in the next couple minutes.
Yep.
But I'm going to encourage in a minute, I'm going to encourage everyone to go check out your website.
Yep.
It looks like Dave Hammer is coming to the National Train Show, which is wonderful.
Good.
But layouts are the other big part of this, besides the clinics.
Correct. Yeah, and we're doing something that has not historically been done before. Before, you had to pay for a bus rental, and it might have cost you $80 or $90 for a bus that would take you to certain layouts, and you only had the amount of time that bus was at that layout. We're not doing that. We're basically going to give you the ability to go directly to the website, click on the link for that layout. It will pop up on your phone with the Google map. You'll have your directions. You drive there on your own. If you want to go back to the previous one, you can go back to it, because there's so much. So I'm making it much, much easier for you. We're going to have about 60 layouts, which is more than they've historically had for years. It's a huge amount of layouts that are going to be available for you to go see when you're there. Most are home layouts, and they are good-sized layouts, anything from 200 all the way up to 3,000 square feet. So you want to see big ones or shelf layouts, everything's going to be there. And by the way, a lot of the layouts that you'll see are ones that you've seen over the last 4 or 5 months in Model Railroad and Royal RMC, because we've had a program to get some of what you're going to see, a preview out in the magazines.
And did you say that on the website there was a way of sort of looking at the layouts in advance?
Yes. When you go to, let's say, for example, my layout is one of those that's on Monday afternoon. Right. You can click on the link on the layouts page, click on that link for that area, and we've grouped them all geographically, so you don't have to spend an hour going back and forth between them. They're all about 15, 20 minutes apart. Nice. You click on that link, you will get all of the layouts for that day. You'll get pictures, multiple pictures for them, but in many cases, you'll actually get a video. We've all been through that where we've gone to see a layout, look good from the pictures, but when you got there, it was plywood city and foam. Well, you can't do that with a video. So if you want to see my layout, you can go and see an actual video of the layout. So many of them we've done video and screenshots. So you know what you see, and you can pick which ones you like.
That is awesome.
So we're moving in that direction. Let's go to some of the other events that are going to be there, like the tours. For the folks who are going to be in the Detroit area, quite often folks are going, hey, I got an afternoon, I don't have anything planned. Can I go actually see my pickup truck built? Well, there is a Ford factory tour plant.
Oh,
where you can actually watch the assembly as those trucks come down the line. You'll actually watch them being built. If you want to ride a steam engine, we've got Henry Ford's got a couple of steam engines there. You'll see some of the beasts there. For anybody who grew up in the Motown era, one of our tours will actually take you to the actual studios where Motown recordings were done. You can actually stand in the room where those songs you sang were actually recorded. On the same tour, we're going to bring you over to the world's tallest train station at the time, Michigan Central, which Ford spent almost $1 billion overhauling that building into an office building. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Insane.
It's just unbelievable. And then we're also going to do a tour of the, drive on the way between them to the downtown Detroit area, because so many people have heard so much about how Detroit's downtown has become such a phenomenal thing. You'll see that too. And one of the best things that relates to Canada, for example, is the Gordie Howe Bridge will be about a month and a half away from completion and opening when the convention's running. So we've actually chartered a boat to do a tour of the Rouge plant area from the water and sail directly under the bridge, so you get to see the bridge and the Rouge, parts of the Rouge complex from the water side. So you don't have to bus, don't have to the car. We're doing this too. Everything is different. The website.
So, NMRA2025.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can register, $125. I did it yesterday, the day before. Forget. It was super easy, really nice registration process. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe, once again, I couldn't believe it was like a lot less than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this whole sort of like build your own menu thing. This is what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. If you look at the screen on the right side, well, look at the blue area. That's what your cell phone is going to look like when you log into NMRA2025.com from your cell phone. It's just a regular website. You don't need an app. Yeah. When you log on to that and you click on event summary, it's going to show you everything going on at the convention. But if you click on my itinerary, which is the little red box there, it's going to show you everything for that day that you paid for and everything you clicked on that you were interested in that doesn't have a charge. Your own personal itinerary has been built for you right there on your cell phone. And
Brilliant.
if you click on, and if you, by the way, if you click on, like I said, if you click on one of the tours, for example, when you click on that tour, you'll be able to get a Google map that takes you exactly where you want to go and tells you how far it is to get there. We built it all in for you.
So in short, this actually sounds like the best NMRA National Convention in years.
We think so. And the proof is in the sheer number of people. Just to give you kind of a final set of numbers, just the operating sessions, there are 457 op session spots for people to operate on a layout when they get there, which is way beyond anything done before. There's 26 different layouts and there's 41 different sessions. So you can't possibly do everything, but boy, for the $125, we're giving you a lot. And if you're bringing a spouse or partner, it's $62. If you're bringing a young child, It's either a nominal fee or it's free. And by the way, you do not, I repeat, do not have to be an NMRA member. We want to open it to everybody to get them interested. So you don't even have to be a member to be able to register and go to the convention.
And not only that, but you can get scanned.
Yep.
So there is I want to tell everyone that if you are going, and I'm really excited about this. I'll be honest, I wasn't planning on doing a lot of sort of traveling and you know, I'm not unfortunately being able to go down to St. Louis this year for numerous reasons. One of which is the accommodation down there is a little difficult, and I've been 2 years in a row. But this is a convention that I'm very excited about, and I will be scanning. And if people are interested in booking, miniprints.com/pages, and then type Novi, and that gets you to the registration page where you can book your scanning spot.
Right. Now, in fact, the link is there. We even built in a link. So if you don't even type that in, you just hit the link on the registration page when you go to the activities.
There is, yeah. I noticed. I didn't capture that part on here, but Anna Marie, I saw that I'm in the list, so I made the big time. Thank you.
You bet. It's just like any other event. When you come to that first page and see everything you can do, one of those things you can see on that list is the link that takes you right to that page, and then from right there you're in. So you can go
Fantastic.
make reservations. So that's kind of the big picture of everything that's going on and why we're getting the kind of sheer registration. The last item I will leave you with is we actually have a maximum number of people that can be at the hotel.
Okay. When are you cutting it off? So you're at 850 now?
We have 850 now. That cutoff is 950.
Wow.
So we're very close to it. At the rate we are going, if you wait till the beginning of next month or 2 or 3 weeks from now, there's a good chance you won't be able to register.
Yeah, you're going to sell out. You are definitely going to sell out.
Yeah,
because there are always a lot of last minute people that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the folks who are listening today, you don't want to be one of those. You want to be one of them who makes
well, if you're thinking of going, definitely. Now, the one thing we didn't mention, and I am keeping an eye on time. So for everyone who is watching, I'm going to give us something away. I'm going to share something. And then we're going to open up the phone lines, as they say. Derek Alexander wants me to put up a link. So let me just go back. Tell everyone the website again.
It is NMRA 2025.
That's it. NMRA. All right. So I'm going to post NMRA.
Actually, go back to the previous slide because it's actually there.
.com.
Yep. Yeah.
Boom. Okay. I think I just posted a link. There we go. I don't know if it's clickable or not, but super easy.
Yep.
Thank you, Bern. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the pleasure of having the chance to share this with everybody and with your
audience. I'm excited by this. I mean, I've already spoken to Gordy, and I can't wait to see him again. And I'm always chatting with Lucy, and it'll be fun to see her again. And I looked at the clinic attendee list, and there are lots of familiar faces and friendly names that I can't wait to reconnect with. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be. Yeah.
And we get to reconnect.
It's going to be so good half of this is social. You see the different events themselves, but don't miss the fact that this is 850 people having a good time socially. And that's another reason why you want to be there.
Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. All yours.
I really appreciate it. I'll see you in just like a month and a half.
Yeah, we're only a few weeks away. Good.
Bye.
Okay. If you want, I'll leave you back to everything else.
Okay.
Yep.
See ya.
You got it. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited by that. It's lovely to go and meet friends and to catch up. Good evening, Dundas Model Railroad. Good evening, Steve 87th. Thank you for everyone who's joining. We just did a little preview of the NMRA National Convention coming up in about 6 weeks in just outside of Detroit, which I will be making the pilgrimage down to. And without further ado, I want to open up the phone lines. But before I do that, last month, I promised that someone would win this book. By the way, I've started it. And if you haven't seen last month's show with my interview with Linwood, check it out. It's on the YouTube Mini Prints Monthly playlist. So last month I said pick a number. We went through all the numbers. Linwood emailed me the number. The person who was closest to the number that Linwood guessed without going over is on the show tonight. And I will be sending this book to Sean's Pennywise and Miser Railroad. So congratulations, Sean. You have won how many pages? 600 pages? Oh, no, let's see. 400. I don't want to read the last page. 451 pages of absolutely suspenseful, terrifying, and wonderful literature. So congrats. Sorry it took me this long to get the book and award it, but you are the winner of the book from last month. Congratulations. I will get that out to you. What else did I want to say? Yes, this is important. I want to remind everybody that from August 22nd to 24th is Sparky 107's meet and greet, headquartered in Cambridge, Ontario, with a whole host of fantastic events. If you have not watched last month, we talk all about it. And there will be a day out with mini prints on Sunday, August 24th, where we will meet here at Miniature Printerland, do a shop tour of my wonderful 350 square feet. And then after the 350 square foot shop tour, where I will unveil all of the mini print secrets, we're going to walk outside. We're going to watch the Via Rail Canadian Transcontinental steam by. And then we're all going to head over to Little Canada for a behind-the-scenes tour of Little Canada, which is kind of like a miniature Wonderland attraction here in Toronto, from one of the co-founders, Dave McLean, who I mentioned earlier. And it's going to be a fantastic event. So check out Sparky 107's YouTube channel if you guys are interested in that. And I will be putting a sign-up form for the day out with mini prints. So even if you are just local to the GTA area and you're within range of my voice and you're not necessarily coming for the full event, you are still more than welcome to attend the day out with mini prints. And I certainly hope that our American friends like Heath will be coming up to join us up here in the Great White North for some Canadian rail fanning, because that would be really fun. And yes, Heath, fly north, drive north, train north, hop on the Maple Leaf from New York to Toronto, and I will meet you at Union Station, and I will ferry you around. I will be your chauffeur. I will be your Canadian Uber driver. But certainly, if anyone wants to come up, this is going to be a really fun event at the end of August. So we've got a great event in July down at the National, and we've got a fantastic event in August. And without any... Oh, yes. What's new at Mini Prints? So there have been a number of new mini prints. Let me see if I can swap out. Can I swap things out? Let's go like that. Yeah, I can swap it out. I don't think that did anything. There we go. The Dino Dig is new. I've done some outdoor lighting mounts, traffic barriers. These are all things that you would have received, or most of these you would have received if you were a Mini Prints of the Month Club subscriber. And these are things that are new on the website. I'm working on a whole bunch of wonderful new things. Here's something right here, which I'm not going to show you, but there is all sorts of new things. If you have any requests, please let me know. But there's all sorts of fun new stuff coming out, including this guy. This is Weed Whacker Guy, who, let me just see if I can hide. I can't hide that little, can I hide that little thing? Let's see, layers. There we go. I can do that. So Weed Whacker guy here. Whoops, let me go back up. Can I play him again? Yeah, look at that. Isn't that crazy? I'm going to talk about this in a minute. Weed Whacker guy is free with any purchase over $40. He's available in N, HOS, and O scale. This is, believe it or not, and this is one of the things I want to talk about. This is what happens when you upload a static picture of a 3D printed mini print to an AI and tell it to animate it. And I think that whole AI thing is very interesting in the context of the conversation we're about to have, because I couldn't believe that this AI was able to animate a static JPEG image. And it brings up, it's a great introduction to tonight's topic. And I'm going to encourage people. I see we've already got one participant in the basement who I'm going to bring up in a few minutes. But I was watching this incredible, I love watching the TEDx series. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the TEDx videos. You know, they get speakers talking about different things. And I watched this woman, Amy McNee. And she basically had a talk called "The Case for Making Art When the World is on Fire." And her thesis, because they always have a thesis, is stop effing around and make something. And she had this great thing that she put up on screen that really resonated with me. And she said, making art gives you agency in a world where we have little control. Creativity is our power to enact change. Artists bring order to the chaos. And if you're anything like me, I've always said that what we do as model railroaders is art. It's 100% art. I really firmly believe it. It doesn't matter whether it's good art or bad art. It doesn't matter whether or not, your art is your art, and it's the act of creation. And I think creating is so important. So I wanted to have an open mic. And the open mic is here. Just type in tinyurl.com/minicreative, and that should get you directly into the basement here. And I'd love to invite anyone on who wants to either show their layout or talk about creativity or what gets them going, or AI, because AI is, as Rayron said, it's a great and evil tool, which I totally agree with, depending on how you use it. And if anyone would like to jump on, by all means, tinyurl.com/minicreative. We'll have an open session on creativity in model railroading. And just to get the juices flowing while I wait for people to come on, I want to show, and let me see if I can move my face out of the way here. I can't. Let's try that again. This is an absolutely fantastic image that was posted on the Mini Print Modelers group by Pele. And if you don't know, I'm sure everyone here has heard of Pele. Pele is probably one of the best there is. This is a scene that he created using the Mini Prints corn, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Here's another shot that was shared on the Mini Prints Modelers group. This was from Justin, using the tires, the shopping carts, the mattresses, the milk crates. And another fantastic scene from Michael Wilson with the open 5x8 trailer, I think, and one of the motorcycles from the skeleton and motorcycle rider. And I think he took the skeleton off and just had the motorcycle, which reminds me I should probably just put motorcycles up. So if anyone, and I know there are a bunch of people, thanks, Sean. The mattresses and the junk did look incredible, didn't they? I mean, I've always believed that details make the difference, but it's not really the details. It's the whole scene. I mean, the details make the scene, and the scene makes the difference. So yeah, if that link is working, and I think it should be working, bit.ly mini create. If anyone's having problems with the link, let me know. I can publish a different link. But jump on. Let's. I'm sure there must be someone out there in Radio Land who would like to share something. Bueller. What did Nelson say? Pele actually posted a mini tutorial on how he did the corn. Yes, he did, and that was wonderful. Pele is very big on doing magazines, so I think you will see, Nelson, that he will probably do that in probably one of the model railroad or one of the articles. Okay, now I'm beginning to wonder whether that link works. So somebody please prove that bit.ly.mini create link works and come and join me, or I'm going to have to bring Byrne back up on screen, and he's already been on. So, oh, you're here? Do you want to come back up on? All right. Let me get rid of this banner. Here, let's just... Oh, and here's Dave. All right, we're going to add Dave too. So there we go. Hey, Dave, say hello to Byrne.
Hello, Byrne. Hello,
hey,
Bernard.
Hope this have helped you.
All right, so yeah, here we go. We have a discussion about creativity.
Well, I also have this questions for the National Train Show part of it too, if Byrne can answer.
Well, we're not going to really do National Train Show now. Dave, National Train Show is the NMRA.
Correct. I will be there just for the National Train Show part of it.
Yeah.
With my Railroad Club.
I will have Lucy on next month, I think, and we can talk National Train Show next month.
That works.
Yep, that's actually a separate operation from NMRA. It's a different location. It's not the same as the hotel. It's nearby.
So I'm thinking that it'd be fun to have Lucy on, because Lucy can speak to the National Train Show element of it, and maybe we'll do that next month. But let's talk creativity. What do you model, Byrne?
Well, in my case, I model Santa Fe. Do something a little different. I model Santa Fe from California, from Barstow and from LAUPT, all the way into Chicago for freight service. But I also do something a little bit different from a creative standpoint, in that most folks simply do a point-to-point on their layouts. And in my case, when that passenger service from LAUPT gets into Chicago, part of my operation session is to say, you need to cut certain cars out of that passenger train and cut it into Broadway Limited going on to New York. Most people just do passenger service point to point. In my case, no, the real world is, if you wanted to go from California to New York, you had to have your car cut out and cut into a different train to do it. So I added that function. And the other creative function I got, and you'll see it on the layout on the tour, is I actually built what people describe as probably the most creative James Bond mechanism they've ever seen on the layout. I built what amounts to a Wonkavator. The problem I had, and some of us have, is you try to get trains across an aisle, and if they're on multiple levels, you can't do a flip up. So I created a mechanism that actually takes a whole section of benchwork with 3 different levels of bridges and water, drops it straight down, and then moves it horizontally, pneumatically, back inside the benchwork. So you've got to clear out. It is something to see. It's a creative solution to a problem. Hey, you can't do a flip up when you got multiple layers. Well, you just got to be creative. And I managed to find a mechanism and the way to be creative and do that. So that's my creative piece that people are most appreciative of me doing.
Awesome.
I mean, you're basically doing like in real life with private cars. If you want to go from, say, California to New York, the only way to get the private car from California to New York is on the California Zephyr or the Capital
Capital would be
DC, but yeah,
Washington, New York, in 1957.
But But in this case, it would be the only way those private cars had to get from coast to coast is you have to go through Union Station in Chicago, because that's the only way you can go from point A to point B. Is there are 2 through tracks in Union Station that allow private cars to go from one side to the other. In case you didn't know that, Bernard.
Yeah,
Oh, neat.
Yep. They're
Now,
not only through tracks, but they're storage tracks. So if you need to hold that car overnight, there's places to kind of, for lack of a better word, park it.
what
True.
era was this burn? What year?
I do 1964 to 1965 to 1967. So that will allow me to have Santa Fe Super Chief and allow
Yep.
me to have Pennsylvania Broadway Limited. That's why I picked that era.
And where are you modeling? What is the geography?
The termination point of my freight service is actually Barstow, California, which is one of at that point was one of Santa Fe's main switching facility, and at the other end, it's Corwith in Chicago. So I'm modeling,
nice.
if you will, the link between those two. And for passenger service, obviously, it's LAUPT all the way into Chicago Union Station.
Wonderful.
Yeah, most of us pick a route, and that's the route that I picked for mine.
Now, Dave, do you have a layout?
Well, I am part of a model railroad club, and at the museum we have several layouts.
Okay. So what's the most creative? What's the most creative scene you've ever built or seen?
Well, I mean, we have at our railroad museum, at the Illinois Railroad Museum, we have the Four Seasons layout, and that is 4 different. It's a giant loop, but each different section has a different season.
Well, that's kind of fun.
And it represents the Milwaukee area.
Nice. That's fun. I've always wanted to model in winter, but the closest I've seen done well, because winter always looks like you've just taken flour or icing sugar or whatever and turned it into winter wonderland. But have either of you ever seen Mike Confalone's Allagash? Because he models mud season, so he's got this sort of snowy, muddy sort of March time, and it's an absolutely amazing time to model, and he does it absolutely beautiful. It's one of the most interesting layouts I've ever seen from a creative point of view, because we all model sort of, I model fall, people model summer, it's always like a bright sunny day with sun and blue sky. He did the exact opposite. He went for dreary, gray, muddy, slushy. It absolutely one of the most creative layouts I've ever seen. And Derek, yes, it is amazing on the Allagash. It's if you look up the Allagash, I think if we're talking about creativity, it's probably one of the most creative layouts from a seasonal perspective I've ever seen.
To get snow or to get a snow background can be challenging because of the distance. Yeah. When I had one of our club members that did my backgrounds, and it's 100 feet of linear background, when I told him I needed to look like a section of it to look like the Rocky Mountains in the winter, he said the most famous picture is the picture of the 5 peaks of the Grand Tetons. So he painted the Grand Tetons, then he with the snow on top, and then he painted the lake in front of it upside down, and then he painted the reflection of the 5 peaks upside down and backwards in the lake. So you're seeing what looks like summertime in the lake and winter on the top of the mountain.
Fantastic.
Great visual effect. Very creative.
That's wonderful.
But another good layout that, Bernard, you have seen as well is the layout that our good friend Michelle runs, the Colorado Model Railroad Museum.
Fantastic layout. Absolutely spectacular. Yeah. And she's got a great event coming up in September, an RPM out in Colorado. I had so much fun in Colorado a couple of years ago. That was one of the best trips. And actually, it's funny because I went out for Sparky. We were talking about Sparky's YouTube meet and greet. Sparky had a YouTube meet and greet in Colorado 3 years ago, maybe now. And that was absolutely amazing. I'm going to respond to this question. I'm not going to do a TARDIS just because TARDIS is a BBC Doctor Who legally registered copyrighted thing. And I typically do not tend to, I try not to anyway, get sued by large corporations. And there are actually TARDISes out there. I was able to find a little BBC keychain that I turned into a TARDIS. So I think I'll leave the TARDIS to the fine licensed folks at BBC and avoid any sort of potential problems on that one. Although I do have a TARDIS on my layout, so I definitely encourage everyone to go find a TARDIS and hide it on their layout. And a friend of mine, Sheldon, has a TARDIS on his layout, and it keeps moving around. So whenever you go to Sheldon's layout, you have to go find where he put the TARDIS.
Isn't that the same thing as like trying to find the goat?
You know what I love? See, that's what I love. I love all the Easter eggs and then finding details.
Sounds like Where's Waldo?
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Which is another thing that I've had a lot of requests for, but I have sort of not decided to do yet, just because if there is I don't mind doing things that are sort of, expired, but I think that one might be a little too litigious for me.
I mean, if you've done a mini goat, people can find a goat.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Well, I usually like to go about an hour, and I see it's coming up on 8 o'clock. So if no one else would like to jump in on the creative conversation, thank you, Dave and Byrne, for joining me. I think that what we do is fantastic. I encourage people, if they want to watch the TEDx, that presentation. I was kind of fist pumping and saying, "Yeah, heck yeah, we create art." And I know that when I build a little scene on my module, it sort of is a little bit act of personal self-expression, and it feels good. So I'm going to, I think, let's see, what's my next slide? Let's see where we go here. Oh, yes, I showed that. Let me go to this layout. I'll keep you gentlemen on the side there, and I will move this over here. And if you have missed part or all of this broadcast, and you would like to watch it, or if you would like to go back and watch last month's broadcast with Mr. Linwood Barkley, which was an excellent broadcast, check out the YouTube Mini Prints channel, and you can find a tab called Mini Prints Monthly Live. You can check out all of the shows right there. I'm most active on Facebook at Mini Prints 3D, and there is, of course, the Mini Prints Modelers group, where people can always share their creative creations. I encourage everyone who does something with their mini prints, including Byrne. I know you've got a painted up mini print on your layout. Feel free to join the Facebook group and go to the Mini Prints Modelers and post a picture. I know that everybody loves seeing everyone else's creativity,
especially when it's a picture of them.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the youtube.com/miniprints. We go live the first Wednesday of every month. So the next one will be July 2nd, Wednesday, July 2nd. I'm just looking at the calendar, which is exactly 2 weeks before I hop in the car and head out to drive to Novi. Mm-hmm. So we are a month and 2 weeks away, Byrne, from hanging out together.
Looking forward to seeing you in Novi. Hey, let me close with one quick humorous item for you.
Absolutely.
When you said Novi, understand the history of where that comes from. We all know that we have stations that we've seen on layouts, and typically it's got the name of the town on it. The train station is normally named after the town. Well, the Pyrmont Railroad and the freight trains, the horse and buggies that went before it, the stations along the Pyrmont were numbered. and they were numbered with a Roman numeral. And the one in that location was station number 6, which is written as NO.VI. And when the town of Novi decided to incorporate it and looked around for a name, they looked at the train station name and said, that would be a good name for the town. So they named the town after the train station instead of the train station being named after the town.
That is fascinating. And it's funny because when I saw that slide, I'm just going to go back a bit. Let's go back. You're seeing the whole presentation in reverse.
Yep.
There we go. There.
Yep.
Station number 6. And I was wondering whether there was a link between the two of them.
That's it. It's basically a town named after a train station instead of.
All right. So we're going to end right there because that is the winning trivia question that somebody could win. So there you go. Are we playing trivia at the convention? Because if so, there we go. We've just given away the key answer.
Darn, do I win first?
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining. I really appreciate it. Sorry that we weren't broadcasting live on Facebook this time, but I'll see if I can go back and post it. If not, everyone will found it on YouTube, so thank you. We go live in a month. Remember right now, and I'm just going to say thank you to our guests. Mm-hmm. If you go on to miniprints.com and place an order between now and next week, which is, I believe, the 11th, and the order is $40 or more, you can automatically add the Weed Whacker guy. And that's a limited edition mini print just for you. My gift. Jeff, you're in Michigan, so I hope I will see you in Novi because you probably don't have very far to drive. Good night, everyone. Good night, Nelson. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Tonight was a great show. I'm super excited to be scanning again. And check out the website. Watch for all the new mini prints. There's a whole bunch of new things that I will be listing this Thursday and Friday and throughout the month. And thanks to Bern for sharing all of the fantastic information on the upcoming National Convention. Good night, everyone. See you next month.
See you.
Bye-bye. Bye.